Yes, sir. And right about now, you are rocking with the best. Well, if you were with me last week, you wouldn't say the best. You'd be like, "What happened?" Once again, my name is Sauce, of course. Hello, 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 hello. I'm Sauce, of course, and this is Sauce is Chillin'. Whew. Another Wednesday, another hump day, another long day filled with things that would crush someone's hopes, dreams, soul, joy, happiness. But you know what? I I will survive. I will. I will, I promise. I'm gonna be okay. My probation thing gonna be alright. My probation thing gonna be alright. Anyway, welcome to the show. Source is chilling. I know. I know. Last week we had to abruptly end the show. Okay, it didn't end abruptly. Like I walked away. There was a slight urgency in the household. And even though I came back maybe 8 minutes later, the show was ended by the proprietor of this here establishment because he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know what happened. So he ended the live, and I appreciate that. But I tried to pull up, you know, for the last 15 to 20 minutes. It just didn't happen that way. It's all good though. Life goes on, and we are here once again, here to win. Uptown chilling, Grandmaster Vic Blend from the projects, the PJs. After 2 DJs, self mission. I had her in the L position saying, Lord, you're a soul brother that I like to F with for the rest of my life. Yeah, yeah, and I'll check the method. You know how it happens. Hip hop bars pop into my head mid sentence, and we just got to get them out. Got to let them go. Got to get them off your chest. Got to get them off your chest, or my chest anyway. Anyways, a lot of things going on in the world today. There is WNBA action. We are in the playoffs in the WNBA first round, quarterfinals. We've already had two teams sent to the crib, Seattle and Atlanta, and they were sent to the crib by the New York Liberty, who were the losers in last year's championship, and the Las Vegas Aces, who were the winners in last year's championship. And guess what? Those two teams will be tipping off against each other in the semifinals this year. Oh man, I wish we could have got this in the finals, but at least we are getting it one way or the other from these two teams. Sunday is the first game, if I'm not mistaken. Sunday is the first game of the series. It's going to be fire. I will be in front of the TV for each of these joints because it's going to be like that. From the MVP, third time MVP, Asia Wilson and company, the Tifka sixth player of the year. Yeah, Tiffany Hayes, sixth player of the year. You know what's off topic? Not really. When Tiffany Hayes got signed over on Instagram, there was, the post from whomever, ESPN, ESPNW, whoever it was, WNBA. Somebody made a post about Tiffany Hayes getting signed, and it turned into a big conversation because people didn't understand. And I had to explain to multiple people, do you know who Tiffany Hayes is? Like, Tiffany Hayes was in the MVP conversation a few years ago. She's gone through some things since then, but she's a dog on offense and defense. You know, people didn't understand it. Some people didn't understand it, but adding Tiffany Hayes to that already ill squad, even though it seemed like it didn't pay off during the regular season because He seemed to struggle and ended up the four seed when we expect him to be 1 or 2. Even though it didn't work out in the regular season, Tiffany Hayes is already paying dividends in the playoffs, and she will continue to do so. It's going to be a great series. So, with the number 1 seed, the New York Liberty, Breanna Stewart, my once and future GOAT. I've called her GOAT adjacent since she hit the league. You could see it at Connecticut. Like even if you didn't watch her from the beginning and actually watched her from her first game. I remember her first game uh, was on ESPN as a freshman. To run off four of them things, she's a dog. She's the dog for real. But she's so unselfish. Sabrina Ionescu last night to finish off Atlanta. She had what 36-8, 36-9. Yeah, Sabrina Ionescu was like that. I think she was a little irritated. I'm just making this up, but maybe she was a little irritated by being left off the first team All WNBA, as Caitlin Clark got that fifth spot, fourth or fifth spot. I think it was deserving. Caitlin did her thing, but if it had gone to Sabrina, I wouldn't have been mad at that either. Sabrina was second team All WNBA this season, but yeah, she got busy on last night, did her thing. So salute to her, and we'll see New York and Las Vegas in what 4 days? In 4 days, so that'll be dope. 4 days, 4 people in the lab. There we go. 444. Jay Z. No, no. All right. I'm not black. I'm OJ. Okay. Uh, right now we have who's playing right now? Indiana. I mentioned Caitlin Clark. Indiana and Connecticut are playing right now. I don't know what the score is. I can easily check though. It's not that hard. Let's see what we have. The score right now is 29-24. Connecticut is up. Second quarter, 3:41 left in the quarter. So I'm sure that's going to be a good game until the end. And then we've got the Phoenix Mercury and the Minnesota Lynx later tonight. So that'll be good as well. So that's one thing that we have going on in the world today. For me, I actually, well, I live on TikTok. That's my home as far as social media and where most of my content is. All of my content, pretty much, lives on TikTok. And today, just randomly this morning, because I didn't really have a topic that I wanted to drop early this morning, and I was kind of rushed, trying to do some overtime at the full time gig. So that's usually an extra 2 hours. So I'm trying to get it started early so I can be off in time for this show and all that good stuff. But what I did was I posed a question. Well, not even a question. I just said, ask source. What I used to do a few months back, once a month, usually at the beginning of the month, but once a month, I would do an ask source session. So I'd say you can, ask source, and people would drop questions about whatever, hip hop, sports, life, politics. But I stopped doing it these last couple of months, at least not regularly. And I said I used to do it once a month. But I stopped doing it regularly a couple months back. But this morning I was like, you know what? Let me just do an ask source and we'll just go from there and see how the day goes. I threw it out there and there have been quite a few questions asked. So I figured I would answer some of them today because it's a couple of different topics. It's a lot of hip hop. It's a lot of hip hop because on that particular platform, that is my most prominent uh, topic, classic hip hop. And people love to ask questions or discuss things, hear rankings, and, you know, hear songs that they don't know, stories that I may have run across, or stories that I may have actually been a part of, you know, different things. So I'm going to go over a few of the questions that were asked of me today, and we'll see how it goes. All right. Where shall we begin? I guess I have to go to the place where the questions actually are because I wasn't there. But getting there right now. How y'all feeling, by the way? I don't have the comments up. Sorry. Not that there are any comments, but I didn't have the comments up. So, but now we're good. So if anybody has a question, we can do on the fly. Ask the question in the comments, and I will answer it right here, right now. I don't know what song that is, but I know it says right here, right now. And it's part of the conversation. All right. All right, let's get to the page and see what questions we have for me. Questions for the source, as they say. So the first question that I was asked this morning, I actually do remember that one. I made sure I did a video response to the first question that was asked because I was like, hey, that's the first question. We got to answer that one with a video. So that first question was, if Andre 3000 had more solo albums, not playing jazz flute, would he be in more GOAT conversations? Great question. That question was actually asked by the host of the Creator Hour, my man Hoop Social. I call him Ori, you call him Hoop Social. So Hoop Social asked that question of me, and I will reiterate the answer that I gave him. So, Andre 3000 is, for many people, in the GOAT conversation, or at least maybe not in the conversation, but around the conversation for a lot of people. In the conversation for some, but around the conversation for a lot of people. The main reason people don't want to put him in the conversation is because of his lack of solo rap albums. How can you be considered the GOAT of rap if you don't have any solo rap albums? And there are a lot of questions that can just go into that thought process, because saying somebody is the GOAT of rap, the greatest of all time, I think that definitely has requires some solo work. I believe that requires some work where you're standing on your own as an MC. The ideas, the concepts, the bars generally are from you. But I also believe that Andre 3000 is an anomaly, and he can be in the space of the conversation even without solo work because he's just that great. A lot of people disagree, and that's cool, you know. It's music. Excuse me, it's music, and music is subjective. So everybody has their opinion. But if you look at the skill, if you look at how he's approached songs, the actual bars, the lyrics, the flows, the originality, that's not even speaking to the style or what Outkast did as a group, but just Andre 3000 alone. I feel like he is in the realm of that GOAT status conversation, but I also understand the parameters that a lot of people have when it comes to that conversation. So, respect to Andre 3000. He is in my personal favorite five, my favorite five MCs. He is in there. If you want to know who they are, I'll tell you real quick. My favorite five MCs are the aforementioned Andre 3000, KRS-One. I know y'all like, oh yeah, KRS-One, you got a gray beard, so of course you got to say somebody that's got a gray beard, or is at least older than you. Clearly, yes, yes, KRS-One is in my favorite five MCs. Also, Pharoahe Monch. I know some of y'all are like, who is Pharoahe Monch? If you don't know, that's cool. But yeah, Pharoahe Monch. Common. I was about to say Common Sense. Common is in my top 10. Common is not in my top 5. Jay-Z, I don't know why I was thinking about Common. Actually, I do know why. Because I just saw that Common was performing right now. So there was a live video going of him performing. So yeah, that was just a few minutes ago. But Jay-Z and Black Thought. I'm just thinking about it right now. That's 5 people. 4 were in groups. 3, well, Thought and KRS-One were the lead voices of their groups. So even though they were in groups, they were really solo because, well, Black Thought wasn't always solo. There was Malik B sometimes, there was Dice Raw sometimes, there was Truck North sometimes. So there have been different MCs in the area, but the prominent person, the leader, as far as vocals, is Black Thought, the leader of the Roots. KRS-One is Boogie Down Production, was Boogie Down Productions, because he did the beats and he rhymed. He was the prominent, dominant voice from Boogie Down Productions. Plus, he had a stellar solo career even after the BDP days, or the BDP putting out album days, I should say. Jay-Z, solo artist. Pharoahe Monch was a part of Organized Confusion, even though he was part of OK 1, 2, 3, 4 albums, 3 albums, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3 albums, 1, 2, 3, 3 group albums, 3 solo albums. A 4th is on the way. It's supposed to drop by the end of the year. And then Andre 3000 obviously is a member of Outkast, and he never dropped solo work unless you want to talk about that flute album that he dropped, that Wind album. He likes to say Wind album, because it's not all about the flute. So that Wind album that he dropped earlier this year. Was it earlier this year? This year's been kind of crazy. Was the flute album earlier this year? It feels like it was late last year. I don't really remember when that flute album dropped. It doesn't even matter because he wasn't rapping on it. But even if you are a person that says that Andre and Big Boi did separate albums for the Speakerboxxx The Love Below project, even if you wanted to count that as a solo album, he's not really rapping on that joint. So it's hard to count that as a solo rap album. You can't count it as a solo rap album because that's not what it is. Not saying he didn't rap on it, but I wouldn't qualify that as or it doesn't qualify as a rap album in my eyes, or in a lot of people's eyes. So it is what it is. But yeah, that was the first question that was asked today. Man, it took me that long to answer the first question. How am I gonna get through all the other questions if it took that long to answer the first one? I know that's what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. Let's see what else we got. I'm just gonna start at the bottom. Do you think Donald Glover would be talked about in GOAT conversations if he had placed all his attention on hip hop? I actually haven't answered this question as of yet. I didn't do a video for this question, although it is a good question. I don't know everything there is to know about Donald Glover as a rapper, aka Childish Gambino. But if he wasn't all the other things, I don't know that he would be seen as prominently as a rapper alone. I don't know if he could have come into the game as, hey, I'm Childish Gambino and I'm rapping, giving us the bodies of work that he has, and then been considered in the GOAT conversation. I think the idea or the fact that he had television shows, comedy, and singing along with rapping, I think those things had something to do with his uh, ascension when it comes to rap. Not saying that he can't rap, but I just don't know how he would have been seen as the GOAT or in that GOAT conversation without those other things being added into the idea of Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino. So that's my that's my thoughts on that. My man Truth asked, "What three artists would you choose for your hip hop dream collab?" I'm not big on doing dream collabs. That's really not my thing. I don't really care for the idea of that because these things are never going to happen, and I feel like it's kind of a waste of time. Just for me personally, I don't really care for that. But I did it this time because I think I said this before when I've done these, and people ask that same question. Not necessarily three artists all the time, but in this case, it's three. So I just took three of my favorite five. I left off Jay-Z and I left off KRS-One and just took my other three and said that would be my dream collab. Black Thought, Pharoahe Monch, Andre 3000. Whew. And there would be some smokers coming out of there because they all sing. They all are barbarians when it comes to rhyming. I didn't even think about this earlier. They all sing. Yeah. And they all, well, I can't say they all produce because I don't know that to be true. I know Andre does, definitely. I feel like Monch does, but I don't know about Black Thought and production. Although Black Thought did, you know, write slash create a musical that was on Broadway, so there's that. I'm sure he could do it if he needed to. But yeah, I should have named a producer to go with him. I don't know. I have to think about that though. But yeah, Black Thought, Pharoahe Monch, Andre 3000. That's my trifecta for a hip hop dream collab. Again, if you have any questions that you want to submit, drop them in the comments. I haven't seen any as of yet, but if you would like, if you got something that you want me to answer, drop it in the comments. It doesn't have to be hip hop related, it can be related to whatever. It could be about your mama. Your mama. No, it could be about your mama. It could be about whatever. Anything outside of P. Diddy, anything outside of Puff Daddy, Diddy, Love, Sean John, Sean Combs. Anything else? Drop it in the comments. Now, this question I don't understand, so I'm going to read it. And if you understand it, tell me what it means. When do you think the age of discovery in hip hop was like 85% done? When do you think the age of discovery and hip hop was like 85% done? I don't understand the question. I want to understand it because this is from my guy Seth. Let me tell him right now. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, Seth. I don't understand the question. I'm sorry, Seth. I don't understand the question. Break it down for me, please. Because that's my guy, and I don't want him looking at me crazy like Source. How you gonna do me like that? No, I don't understand. I don't know what the question means. So we will move on. How crazy is it gonna be? I'm sorry, I'm misreading. How crazy is it gonna get after Kamala beats the brakes off of Trump in about 5 weeks. Is that going to happen? Is that going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I know that this country is on a bunch of BS. And I know that there are people who are not going to tell you the truth about who they're voting for because they don't want to be seen as racist. So they're going to play the game, but then they might just return to the expectation and vote with that guy. I don't know. I don't know if beating the brakes off of dude is even possible or will be allowed, will be shown to the world. I don't know. But whatever happens, unmelanated Americans are going to go crazy, crazy for thinking Patsy Cline style. Literally Patsy Cline style, because I don't know Patsy Cline like that, but I gotta think, you know. Anyway, I don't know what's gonna happen, so we just have to see on that one. My favorite question of the day, which led to my favorite response of the day, was what is your favorite Redman song? Now, the question that was asked is what I said. What is your favorite Redman song? The question that was typed on the screen actually says, what is your favorite Ref Man song? What is your favorite Ref Man song? So instead of a D, they have an F. Ref Man. Well, guess what? I do a little refereeing from time to time, flag football. And I said, you know what? This is a perfect time to break out the flag football gear. So instead of answering, well, I answered the actual question, the red man question, but I just saved that response. And instead, I gave them the what is your favorite Ref Man song response. Threw on the referee shirt. Should I show it to you? Can I show it to you? Is that a thing? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. Is Kamala gonna beat the brakes off? What is your favorite Ref Man song? Well, obviously, number one is Blow the Whistle. Didn't Snoop say I'm official like a ref with a whistle? The one where Fife says pass is incomplete, same as Vinny Testaverde. Oh, what's the one that goes flag on the play, somebody call the ref? Another favorite would be Whistle While You Work. And of course, Ebony and Ivory get the flag in perfect harmony. I know it's a song that says these hoes flagging. I kind of like that one, even though he's calling the refs hoes, but we do be flagging. And of course, you know who my favorite newer artist is. Tizo Touchdown. What's my favorite word? Penalty. What is your favorite? I don't know about you, but that video was hilarious to me. Well done, Source. Well done, sir. You did that. You did that. You know, the one part I messed up on, when I sung the song Ebony and Ivory, the actual words are live together in perfect harmony. I changed it to get to flagging in perfect harmony, as in throwing flags. But the words were live together in perfect harmony. If I would have been thinking, Instead of live together, I would have said live to flag them. Live to flag them in perfect harmony. Then I'm using the same words. That's a disappointing flub on my part. I should have known better. You should have known better. I messed up. But that's okay. That's okay. Another Quaalude, they love me in the morning, you know? But yeah, so that was my response to the ref man question. My response to the red man question was actually it was detailed as well. But, and I couldn't come up with just one song. How am I going to come up with what's your favorite Redman song? One song? You want me to name one song from Redman that I love above the others only? No. No. So I went through a few of Redman's albums that I love, and I just picked a song from each of those. But you can pick any Redman song. Like it's pretty much any song because they're all top tier across the board. And when I say all, I mean of the albums that I love. I didn't like Malpractice. Haven't listened to it in a while, but I think I'm gonna go back and listen to it again just to make sure I don't like it as much as I remember not liking it. I didn't really listen to Mudface or Reggie. Those were the two latest albums from Redman. But everything else, I dropped a song from, such as uh what I say, Tonight's the Night, Superman Lover 2, Pick It Up, and Do What You Feel from Muddy Waters. The Goodness, I mixed in El Nino, the El Nino album, which was Death Squad, which is Keith Murray, Eric Sermon, and Redman. Say Word from that album. I mixed in, well, The Goodness. Then I mixed in the Blackout albums 1 and 2. Blackout 1, The Rock Wilder, of course. Blackout 2, This Is For All My Smokers. And Freestyle is from Doc's the Name. Right? Yeah, from Doc's the Name. Or am I wrong? Where's Freestyle from? We're gonna stick with Doc's Name because I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, love Redman, dope albums all the way across the board. Hard to pick one song when we're talking about Redman. Limitless, what up? I am not fluent, but close enough. You know what I'm saying? Close enough. All right, let's get back to the answers, or the questions, I should say. The questions. The questions. Yo, it's the questions. All right, so I was asked, how do you feel about Q-Tip as a producer? Now, A Tribe Called Quest is my favorite group, so obviously I love Q-Tip as a producer. But I decided to look up some work that he's done that I might not realize. And you know, Q-Tip's done songs for different artists. You know, 30 Special. If you go back a little bit, um, he's done some work for different people, Nas included. But one song that I did not realize that Q-Tip produced. You ready? Q-Tip produced Gangsta from Apache. It's like 1992, 1993. I need a gangster. Yo, a gangster. I love that song. Even though it's, you know, I'm not necessarily married to the I need a gangster part of the verbiage, but the beat was ill. I always loved it, but I just assumed it was somebody like rest in peace, Mark 45 King, or somebody from that Jersey clan that dealt with Flavor Unit. It was Q-Tip. I was like, what? How did I not know this? So disappointed in myself for not knowing this. But man, Q-Tip produced that joint. Crazy. Shout out to Kamal Fareed, aka the Abstract, aka John Davis, aka Q-Tip. My man Oakland, who might be in here right now, because he does tend to pull up when I do these shows, asked what were my favorite 3 albums of the year. I don't know that I have three that I want to stand on as my favorite three, but I do know what my number one is. I probably know what my number two is, but I'd have to think about it. But number one is Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. Yeah, tough album from Schoolboy Q. Um, it feels like it's been out for a while. It came out in March, and March is 6 months ago. It has been a while. It's been half a year, but it almost feels like it came out in 2023. But anyway, number one for me for 2024 up to this point, 9 months into the year, Schoolboy Q, Blue Lips. My guy Oakland came back again and asked, how do you describe La Russell's energy? If you don't know La Russell is from the Bay Area, and he's a young guy, maybe, well, I say young, maybe 28. I feel like I heard him say his age recently. I thought it was 28. I might have made that up. But he's a young guy, very smart, independent. He does shows in his backyard, and they're packed. Yes, he does shows in his backyard. Crazy, crazy. He's had Juvenile out there and Richie Rich and different people, different legends, especially of the Bay, come out and perform at the crib. It's dope. Plus he's like, I don't want to say he's tech savvy, but he's money savvy. So it seems business wise. He sells parts of his songs to people. He allows people to buy into his songs or his projects and have stock in what he is doing. It's very dope. I wish I understood it more, but I don't because I'm not that smart. But yeah, so what was my answer to the question? I said infectious because watching him, when I watch him get hype, I'm hype. I'm like, yo, he's live. He got the energy, the voice, spit the bars. The music, of course, is the bass, so you already know it's live. And I enjoy seeing La Russell's videos and him performing and rocking. And I know he was in Washington, D.C. recently, and I'm looking forward to seeing that joint because he was on the porch, on the front porch with them DC boys that do the go go and all that. So I know that's gonna be crazy because he's gonna have a live band right there with him. And one more question from my man Oakland. He asked, Super Bowl 2026 is in the Bay. What do you think of MC Hammer as the halftime performer? Because there's been so much conversation about Kendrick being named the halftime performer for this year's Super Bowl, 2025 Super Bowl, it being in New Orleans, and some people believing that because it's in New Orleans, it should be Lil Wayne or a New Orleans artist. I understand that idea, but I think in the grand scheme it doesn't hold water. Plus, when you're talking about Kendrick, you're talking about clearly the hottest rap artist of 2024. Kendrick was already a big deal, already argued in people's top fives. And then he had an epic battle with Drake this year, and They Not Like Us was born. Are you kidding me? Who else would you get it for the Super Bowl? So, plus the connection of Wayne to Drake, uh, I don't know if Jay Z wanted to go that way or if he presented that, how he presented that to the powers that be for the NFL for this, which will be Jay Z's last halftime show being part of that inner circle. I think his contract is up after this one. So, what do I think about Hammer performing in the Bay? I think it could be lit. It could be lit, but I wouldn't expect it. Even if it's hip hop, it would be just as dope to have someone from somewhere else perform and they bring Hammer up. It doesn't even matter where they're from, actually. It could be somebody, it doesn't have to be hip hop, it doesn't have to be rap necessarily. To bring Hammer up to perform in the Bay, oh my gosh, that joint would go crazy. So I won't be surprised if Hammer touches that stage in 2026 at halftime of the Super Bowl. But we got to get through this one first. We got to get through this NFL season first. We're in week 3. We're going towards week 4. But shout out to my man Oakland, who always holds me down when I do lives and all that on TikTok, which you're welcome to join at Source, of course. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram as well, but I do the lives on TikTok specifically. I was also asked, when would you say we shifted out of the golden era of hip hop? Was there an artist or album that closed out the era? That's tough. That's a tough question because when you talk about the golden era of hip hop, depending on who you ask, you will get different answers. Early on, it was like 87 to 89 was the golden era. At one point, 92 to 94 was considered the golden era, 93 to 95. I believe that the older hip hop gets, the longer span that's being allowed to be considered the golden era exists. So at this point, for me, I was like, man, the golden era was 87 through 95. That's a 8 year, 9 year really, but 8 year span between those 2 years, and a lot of great hip hop was created and put into the world that still bangs out today, right now. So I say 87 through 95. If I had to shorten it, I'd go 88 to 94. But yeah, it's a lot of great music in that time frame. Worst case, if I wanted to like be OD with it, I'd go 87 to 98. But I think the hip hop changed quite a bit within that time frame. So I'm gonna stick with 87 to 95. All right. I don't have that many more questions. Actually, I do have that many more questions. I can't answer that one because that's gonna take that I need to give a speech on that joint. I was asked about the new Justin Timberlake album. I ain't heard it. How oh wait, quick one. Your favorite rapper from Canada would be who? I don't have a lot of favorite rappers from Canada or a lot of rappers from Canada that I rock with heavy, but if I had to reach back into my bag, I'd say Cardinal Official. Cardinal. That was my guy. How do you feel about artists taking song ideas, subject matter, concepts, etc., from other artists? I feel like this was a loaded question. I feel like this was a question aimed at a specific artist. But and I haven't answered it yet because this question was only asked maybe three hours ago, and I was a little busy, so I haven't gotten to that one yet. But I have no problem with artists taking concepts, song ideas, or subject matter from other artists. And I think what he's referring to is not like somebody does a song and then you do a song just like them. I think what he's referring to is somebody says, yo, I got a song idea, and boom, do that. But I really think he's talking about specifically, excuse me, specifically is a song that was by, I can't remember who it was by, but it was a song that a younger artist had. They presented to Rockefeller, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be able to do this song," you know, as one of their songs. And then Jay-Z heard it and was like, "Yo, you gonna have to give me that." So Jay-Z took the concept and even the flow pattern and created a song based on that person's song. I think the question, I mean, to me, that's where the question came from. I don't know if that to be true. I'll find out, I'm sure, once I answer it. But that's what I'm thinking. I I will say I don't love that. I don't love the idea of here's a song that I did and played all the way out, and then you say, you know what, I'm just going to change the words, which you can change the whole song, of course, but I'm going to change the words and present it as a different piece of art, and your song is going to go away. But I get it, especially if you're an executive while being an artist. You're like, you know what, this could be one of them ones. And instead of you being a new artist or a lesser known artist doing this song that's not going to move the needle, I can take this song, it'll be a heat rock, and it will create revenue for the company. Not to mention add it to my resume. I get it. I can get how somebody would look at that sideways, but I do get it as an overall idea of something somebody might want to do. Not something that I would want to do personally as an MC, but on the business side, you got to be open to the business side when you think about it. You can't just go at it from an MC level and be like, no, rappers can't do that. If you shouldn't do, I mean, you can say that, but if you're looking at a person that's a business person along with being a rapper, and they're looking at it that way, and that's how they present it, you can be mad, but you can't be mad for real, especially when it's somebody who's already proven to be one of the best of all time. So, and you know what? That's almost our time. We did get started 10 minutes late. I'd say it was my fault because I didn't contact the proprietor of this here establishment and get my parameters squared away beforehand. So it was kind of a rush, last minute setup for the show. But I'm glad we did it. Got to run through these topics and share some opinions, some thoughts on the WNBA and on these topics that were dropped on my TikTok page earlier today during my Ask Source session. Peace and love to those who showed up, those who are in the comments, even though y'all aren't saying anything. At least you're watching. I appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to my page as well. Source and Company. Source and Company is my page on TikTok. That's my TikTok on my YouTube channel. It's Source and Company. On TikTok and Instagram, it is at Source of Course. And I'll be back when the day is new, and I'll have more ideas for you. And you'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. Peace and love. Y'all be good. See you when I see you.